And then I'll make her a co-host. Hi, Donna.
Hello, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm good.
Hi, Johnny.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Is
How
that
about
Christmas
yourself?
stuff behind you?
It looks
Yes.
like Christmas.
It looks like Christmas stuff.
It is. I've been making wreaths, so they're all hanging up behind him.
I
Oh, my
thought
goodness.
you're really early with your Christmas this year.
No, I haven't started yet.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Crystal.
There we go.
Welcome.
Hello. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you for doing this for us.
Absolutely. I just want to make sure before y'all get started that I'm able to share my screen.
Yes,
when
you've
it's
been made a
time.
co-host, so you will be able to share
Okay.
your screen. You're more
Perfect.
than welcome to try it just to make sure if you want to.
Okay.
And know that, are you still recording, Vicki? I am. Okay, just so everyone know you're being recorded.
Okay. Yep, I do have the capability, so awesome.
Awesome, okay.
Thank you.
So what we are probably going to do just to, in the interest of time and you getting through your presentation is I will disable the chat.
Okay.
And that way, and once it's over, then we'll open it back up for question and answer for you.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds great.
I'm gonna clean my desk while we're sitting.
Deb, you ordered your red tulips yet?
Getting ready to this week. The kids love that. They love that. And they really were pretty last year. I think almost all of them came up.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had them everywhere.
they are pretty when they come up. I missed that.
Yeah, they said I couldn't order them until starting this week pretty much. So
Huh.
I saw Tamara come in, but I don't see her.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, there she is.
Hi,
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
how are you?
Good. And yourself?
I'm good.
Awesome.
I know there are going to be new faces and I want to know where they're from and I get to meet everybody.
I'm Tamara. I'm a substitute for the district.
Okay. Now you are the high school rep, aren't you?
Yes, right
Okay.
now.
And you had the front office at the admin building.
Yes, I studied Pamela.
Yes.
I'm a little bit of everywhere.
Do you sub anywhere or just mainly the high school?
High school and middle school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are my stomping grounds.
Hi, Megan.
Hello.
Hi, Ms. Whitford.
We're so thankful that the middle school and the high school are your stomping grounds.
I'm treated well at both, so I'm grateful.
Hey, Tasha. Hello, Sherelle.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
Great.
Hello.
Doing
Hey,
great.
Andrea.
Hey. How's everyone?
Great.
Good.
Is it okay if I turn my camera off so you won't see my son walking back and forth behind me?
Sure.
I'm blocking the kitchen, so he's doing pizza runs back and forth.
Hi, Alma.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Can hear you loud and clear.
Helps if I unmute myself. Deb, if you're ready, I'll just keep an eye on the chat room and continue to allow people to join.
Okay. I think we're just missing just a couple of people on there. So, hey, welcome everyone. Thank you for agreeing to participate in SHAC, to be on this this group. We're going to change the agenda just a little bit because we have guest speakers. We're going to let them go first and do their presentation, and then we'll kind of rotate back. All righty. All right, Miss Crystal Walker.
Okay, wait, I just want to make a
oh, sorry.
statement first. I want everyone to know this year, because of changes, all of our meetings are recorded and posted on the website. So this Zoom meeting is being recorded and then we will have it posted. I want everyone to be aware of that. And then I want to read a statement. As members of the SHAC committee, one of our duties is to make recommendations of acceptable curriculum to the district in regards to human sexuality instruction. If human sexuality curriculum is even discussed within Red Oak ISD, it's ultimately the board's decision. Here is an option that district administrators would like for the SHAC committee to review, as we feel this might be most in line with the majority of our district's beliefs and core values of possible acceptable options for human sexual instruction, which is Aim for Success. And that's who's going to be presenting tonight. Remember, as we discuss this option, we need to continually consider if this option is suitable in subject and grade level. And once again, we only make a recommendation. The ultimate decision is with the Red Oak ISD Board of Trustees. So we'd like to present this in an upcoming meeting to the school board. And so we will be discussing after the presentation. So I just wanted that statement out there. And then we'll listen to Aim for Success and what they have, their presentation. And then we will discuss after everything is over. Okay, thank you.
Hi, SHAC. I'm Meredith Patterson. I'm from Aim for Success, a division of Just Say Yes. And I would like to introduce you to Crystal Walker, who is our Director of Wellness Education, which is our wellness education programming. We have been longtime partners with Red Oak ISD over 10 years. And currently, the program that we're going to do for you tonight, that Crystal is going to do a kind of high level overview for you, is called Aim for Success. It is our foundational sexual health and wellness program. And then you do also have program outlines that I believe that Sue sent you for Next Up, which is our 5th grade development, adolescent development and puberty program. It's designed for 5th graders specifically. And then we also have the Freedom to Succeed program that in the past we have done for 11th graders in Red Oak ISD. And so the Aim for Success program is normally for 6th graders in the middle school. So I'm going to hand it over to Crystal and let her walk you through the program.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Meredith. And before I jump into the content that would share with 6th graders, I do want to just give you a little more context for our organization. Ooh, and my clicker isn't working. Let's see. There we go. There we go. We're all about growing value and vision in youth by combating isolation and imparting hope. And we do this through our powerful research-based health education programs, focusing on a number of topics. We have bullying prevention, drugs and alcohol, relationship, sexual health programs, which you'll see one of those one of the programs in that category today. Technology and social media, and our newest program that we just launched this fall for K to 12th grade students on addressing mental health. We've reached over 3.9 million students, parents, and educators across 42 states through wellness education and our peer-to-peer mentoring and our motivational experience. Those are our high impact assemblies. And as you can see, we do these programs in classrooms and different settings to be able to reach students. And before I get started, I'd like to say this up front, that we believe that parents are the primary sex educators for students. And we're just here to partner with you to provide helpful information to support your children in making the healthiest decision. Now, as a family, we share this with parents that as we go through our presentation, and if you see that what we're presenting may differ slightly from your family values, we want to ensure you that your student is going to hear your values loud and clear. And we tell parents, hey, just use the presentation as a springboard to open up the lines of communication, to start the communication about this very important topic of sexual health. Now, we start off this program with students, having them think about their dreams and goals. This program is called Aim for Success for a reason. We really want them to aim for success, to reach their dreams and goals. So we start having them think about graduating from high school. We have them think about jobs they want to get, whether they want to go to the military, be an entrepreneur. We have them think about starting a family someday, getting married, having kids or no kids, or maybe they just want to travel and enjoy life, meet new people, and go to new places. And we tell them that, hey, it's great to think about those dreams and goals. It really, really is. And as you think about those dreams and goals, there's going to be things that's going to try to distract you from reaching your dreams. And specifically, as y'all know, we're talking to them about one important topic that could be a huge distraction, and that is sex. Now, as we talk to 6th graders, we kind of ease into the topic before we even bring up the word sex. We'll play this game called the good or bad game. We're going to put some words on the screen like Disney World, and we say, hey, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Is that a good word, bad word? And everyone's like, oh yeah, Disney World is good. That's great. That's amazing. Now for the parents, not so good because it's expensive, but the kids, they're excited. Now, what about this next word? Roaches. Now, most kids say, oh no, I don't like roaches, especially if you find them in your food and they're not supposed to be there. What about this next word? This one is a little tricky because fire can be good or bad depending on how it's used, right? And we have that discussion and we say, hey, fire can keep your food warm, can keep you warm when it's cold, and fire can destroy houses and burn people and can be very, very harmful. Now, this last word is sex. And what we want them to see is similar to fire, how it can be good or bad depending on how it's used. The same is true with sex. It can be good or there could be bad consequences that can come from it depending on how it's used. Now, throughout the program, we're talking about chances that teenagers can take if they make a decision to have sex, all right, the most obvious chance we'll talk to them about is teen pregnancy, all right? Now, as we talk about teen pregnancy, we do want them to know that, hey, starting a family is a beautiful thing. In fact, it may be one of the most beautiful feelings in the world. However, becoming a parent as a teenager can be really, really tough. If you're not prepared for it, it can be challenging. Teen parents typically they have difficulty staying on track with their education. They have to become or grow up quickly, quicker than they should. Now, as we talk about starting a family, how we even show this picture that, hey, it can be great, it can be amazing, but not so great when you're a teen parent and have to deal with that huge responsibility. So we'll ask them this question. We'll say, hey, if you don't want to have to deal with some of the difficult things that can come with having to deal with teen pregnancy and making some tough decisions and having to grow up quickly, what is something that you can do that would give you a 100% guarantee where you would not have to deal with a teen pregnancy? And that the answer is pretty simple. We usually get the right answer from sixth graders. They say, just don't have sex. I remember I was in the East Texas area, and I wish I could take this kid with me to every program. He was a sixth grader. He had a very, very thick Texas accent. He said, just don't mess with sex. I said, exactly, don't mess with sex. Wait. Now, when we say wait, we're not saying wait forever. We're just saying wait for the best time to have sex. Wait until it's the best time to have sex. Now, they may be thinking like, whoa, when is the best time to have sex? Is it when I become a legal adult? Is it when I go off to college? When is it? Well, we tell them that the CDC, that is our government, the Centers for Disease Control, they say sex is best shared in a long-term mutually monogamous relationship. And that's a mouthful, but all that means is that sex is best shared between two people who love each other and who are committed to each other for life. And this lifelong commitment is usually seen in a marriage. And the great news is that anyone can get married. Now, for some students that we may talk to, they may think like, I don't want to get married. What about me? Well, there's other research that shows that there are tremendous benefits to delaying sex until they're owed to a person is older and they're in that long-term committed relationship. Research shows that teens who delay sex, they have been proven to be less involved with risky behavior such as smoking, drinking, and doing drugs. So making healthy decisions about sex, we want them to see that it can contribute to helping them make healthy decisions in other areas as well. Now, as we talk about sex, we say that sex is a special act of intimacy, all right? And that psychologists actually say that sex is the most intimate, most closest bond that anyone would ever experience. That's the closest that you'll get to anyone. Now, as we talk about sex for the students, we have to address sexual abuse, because it's very likely that we may be talking to students who, as we bring up sex, it may bring up some tough memories. So we'll say that if you've been, if sex or sexual activity has been forced on you in any type of way, if you've experienced sexual abuse in any type of way, we want them to know this, that it is not their fault. No matter what happened, no matter what the circumstance was, sexual abuse is never your fault. Now, we'll say that if you've been sexually abused, does someone respect sex as something special? Remember, we said sex is a special act of intimacy, right? No, they didn't. But the good news is that with the help of others, you can work through your past and look forward to sharing the intimate bond of sex with someone you marry or are in a long-term committed relationship with. And lastly, we let the students know that sexual abuse is against the law. If you're experiencing it, if you have in the past, there's help available for you. We do specifically just walk through how they can identify someone who may be a sexual abuser as they are in our society. We want them to be on the lookout. And these are some of the characteristics that we talk to them that you see on the screen. And we say that sexual abuse can also include someone who asks you to look at their body when they don't have much clothes on. They may ask to look at your body when you have little to no clothes on, and they may even try to touch the sexual area of your body. And we say the sexual area of your body is the areas that are typically covered by a swimsuit. All right. We said if you ever experience anything like this, we want you to do 3 things. We want you to simply tell that person to stop as loud as bravely and boldly as you can. Try to get away from that situation. Try to get to a safe place. And everyone can do this last one. Tell an adult. Go home, tell your parents, go to school, tell your favorite teacher. Any trusted adult would love to help you in this situation. So that's how we cover sexual abuse for 6th graders. And we'll move on talking about another risk that young people can take, and those are sexually transmitted diseases, all right? And we let them know that about 13 million new STD cases among young people ages 15 through 24 arose in 1 year, 13 million. So that's about over an average of 1 million new cases of STDs a month. That's a lot. Now, as we talk about STDs, we want them to know that sometimes they come with symptoms and sometimes they do not. A person can be asymptomatic. So that means that they can have a disease and not know that they have it. They have no signs or symptoms, and they can still be highly contagious and spread this disease to other people. Now, there are a number of STDs that we'll cover. We'll talk to them about HIV and AIDS. As we talk about STDs, that's usually the first one that pops up in their minds, and we'll let them know HIV and AIDS, what it is and really what it stands for, and how it can over time can move to AIDS, meaning that it can highly affect their immune system, and there aren't any known cures today for it. After HIV AIDS, we'll talk to them about the 3 most common STDs among teenagers who decide to have sex. And this first one is chlamydia, and we'll share with them about some of the symptoms that can come with chlamydia, as you see here on the screen. And next, we'll talk to them about a statistic that's pretty astounding when you read it. It's 1 out of 5 sexually active teenagers get an STD every year. 1 out of 5. Now, it's not 1 out of 10 or 100. It's 1 out of 5, and we do not want them to forget that statistic. We'll do an illustration later on to help them remember it. This next STD we'll talk about our genital herpes, and here are some of the symptoms that can come along with it. Now, I told you that we do not want them to forget that 1 out of 5 statistic. So we actually will do an illustration to help them realize how serious it can be. So what we'll do, we'll split the room into 5 groups, okay? And each group is going to be assigned a color, all right? We're actually going to play a game, play a game called chlamydia, all right? So what we'll do is we'll assign them a color by spinning this wheel, and here's just one example. We'll say group 1, you're the pink group, and each color that we assign them corresponds with these chlamydia cards that I have in my hand. As you can see, they all represent each color here. So we'll say on the back of one of these cards is a big bright pink spot. Now, we're going to count to 3, and we're going to see which card has this big bright pink spot, and whichever group has this big bright pink spot, that would be the group for the illustration that would have chlamydia. If this entire room was sexually active, there would be one group in this room that would have chlamydia according to that statistic that we just read. So we'll count to 3, and we'll say 1, 2, 3. We'll turn cards around and you see that there's a big bright pink spot here. And this actually is the yellow group. And we really don't want them to miss the point. This is actually very interactive. They get excited about this illustration, but we don't want them to miss the point as we're having fun with this. We want them to see that, hey, if this entire room was sexually active, then a fifth of this room would have an STD by the end of the year. And that is really, really serious. Well, this last STD that we'll talk to the students about is HPV, human papillomavirus. Is actually the most common STD among teenagers. And here are the symptoms that can come along with it. Now, as we talk about STDs, we really want them to know that with HPV, there is a vaccine available. And we do let them know that it can reduce the risk of the warts and the cancer, but that vaccine does not prevent all types of HPV. HPV has a number of different strands, and that vaccine doesn't cover every single one of them. All right, we do tell them a story about a young lady who was a teenager, and she got HPV, and she got HPV simply by skin to skin, sexual area to sexual area contact. See, HPV is a skin-based disease, and she didn't have sex. It was just that she had just skin to skin, sexual area to sexual area contact, and she was still able to contract this STD. Well, we talked about teen pregnancy being a risk. We talked about STDs, and we really want them to see how at risk they could be for an STD. So we'll do another illustration for them. We'll say, hey, let's say this dot represents you, all right? This is you and you. Let's say that you had sex with two people your whole entire life, okay? And there they are. But let's say those two people, before they had sex with you, they had sex with two people. And let's say before the 4 had sex with the 2 who had sex with you, they had sex with 2 people. And let's say before the 8 had sex with the 4 who had sex with the 2 who had sex with you, they had sex with 2 people. What we want them to see is really for them to blow it up, right? One act, one decision could result in them being connected to a number of people. Now, let's say, even though we said that 1 out of 5 sexually active young people will get an STD every year, let's say that you're lucky and only 2 on this top row have an STD. Well, could those people on that top row pass it to the 8? Yes, they could. Could someone in the row of the 8 pass it to the 4? Someone in the row of 4? Absolutely. What about the 4 to the 2 and the 2 to you? Yes, you can find yourself having to deal with 2 STDs. Doctors actually say you can get as many STDs as you expose your body to. Now, a lot of times young people are like, I don't like how this story ends. Is there another way? And we say, yeah, absolutely. You could, let's say this time that this is you, all right? And let's say that you meet a special someone and you both decide to wait to have sex until marriage, until you're in that long-term committed relationship for life that we've been talking about. And let's say that you guys get married and you have sex for the very first time on your wedding night. How many STDs do you have to worry about? The answer is 0. And that's the freedom that we really want them to realize that they can have. So we've talked about teen pregnancy, STDs, and really the risk of it. Next, we'll talk about the next chance. The risk that we'll talk about is emotional hurt. And we do this by using an illustration with these 2 gloves. And these are 2 gloves that we say, let's say that these 2 gloves represent 2 teenagers. And we actually name them. We say, let's say this one is named peanut butter, and let's say this one name is jelly. And what we'll show, I will spare you the puppet show, but what I want you guys to see is that this 2 couple, they wanted to take their relationship to another level, so they decided to have sex, and they are now in a sexual relationship. And that relationship didn't last forever because sex kind of complicated things, and they break up. And we have the students listen to the sound that it makes when they break up. That tearing, that ripping represents heartache, represents emotional hurt and pain that's all involved in a sexual relationship. This is another risk that a lot of students don't think about. It's the emotional hurt, the memories, the feelings that's all involved in a sexual relationship. Remember, I said earlier that sex is the most intimate form of bonding known to man. So this is the closest you'll ever get to anyone. So doesn't it make sense that when you have to break that special bond, that it's going to hurt. And as you see, it's just Velcro in the inside of these gloves to illustrate how sex can cause that emotional hurt and emotional pain. Well, we can't talk about sex without talking about sexting, because technology is a big deal here in our kids' life. They're Gen Zers, they are digital natives, so really all they know is technology. And we encourage them by talking about sexting to make healthy choices when it comes to technology. And we'll tell them, hey, you think you're just sending that one picture, that one nude to one person, but that person can send it to their friends, and their friends can send it to their friends. And you really do lose control over the images, the things that you post. So we simply let them know that there are also legal consequences for sexting. Here in the state of Texas, it's illegal for one minor to electronically send or possess. So even if you press send or just possess it on your device, it's illegal for you to have that visual material of another minor. So all that means is that if one minor, someone under the age of 18, sends a sexually explicit video or picture, and a minor receives that picture, it is against the law. So we'll tell them, hey, make healthy choices. We'll leave them with this warning. We'll say, hey, once you press send, there are no do-overs, there are no take-backs. So you really want to make healthy choices. It'll be great not to get involved with sexting. Now, these are just some of the chances that we'll cover throughout the program, and we'll end the program by asking them this really important question. We'll say, hey, can you chance it? Do you want to chance possibly walking away with emotional hurts, or a baby, or infertility, herpes? Do you want to chance it? If the answer is no, then making a decision to wait might be a good decision for you and your future to help you reach your dreams and your goals. We'll end our time with them by showing them survey results from the CDC. They survey thousands of teenagers every year, and we'll show them how many teenagers are not having sex. So we'll walk through all these different age range. So you see 97% of 13 and under age 13. We'll see about 95% saying, no, I have not had sex. If we add in older students, you'll see about 89% of 13 to 15-year-olds who said, no, I have not had sex. All the way up to high school seniors, we're finding over half. The research finds that over half of 15 to 18-year-olds said, no, I have not had sex. The conclusion is most teenagers are not having sex. So we want them to know that if you're making a decision not to have sex, you're in the majority. And that's a decision that you can be confident in. And other research shows that most teenagers who have had sex, they regret it. They wish they never would have done it. Maybe because of some of the tough things that we talked about today. So, yep, that is the conclusion of just a high-level preview of Aim for Success. I was able to hit every core topic that we would address with the sixth graders. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Crystal. That was a great overview. And also just to give a little bit of context, because I know Sue said that there were quite a few new people to the SHAC who's maybe not heard of us before or seen our programs before, but we do also offer parent preview programs. So parents are a speaker like Crystal would come and give a presentation, which would be the full program that students would hear, along with about 5 to 10 minutes or so of parent education around that specific topic. And that's actually available for all of our programs, not just our sexual health and wellness program. So that goes for our bullying prevention, drug and alcohol awareness, our mental health programs. And so that is a huge piece of what we believe at Just Say Yes, a division of Aim for Success, is that a connected student is a protected student. So we really want to connect them to healthy and safe adults, as well as healthy and safe peer relationships as well. And so empowering parents with that parent program preview is a huge piece of what we believe in, and really connecting students to those safe and healthy relationships. So we'd love to open it up if anybody. Sue, is this a good time for questions, or were you all wanting to wait till later?
I think this would be a good time for questions so that they can get answers, because I'm sure they're going to have questions for you all. So that would be great.
Yeah.
Vicky, can you open that up for everyone?
The chat is open, and also you can unmute yourself and just ask questions that way.
Any
Thank you for
questions?
the presentation. Thank you for the presentation. Is it still an option for the parents to decide whether or not their children attend these sessions?
Yes.
Mhm.
You go.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll actually speak to that because that's something that I've had to learn about in Crystal too this year.
Yeah.
So there's actually a new House Bill 1525 that was just passed here in Texas that actually requires the notification of parents a minimum of 14 days in advance of any kind of sexual health and wellness programming, and that also it is now opting in for their students to attend that program. Previously, it was an opt-out opportunity. And so what the opt-in now requires with the House Bill 1525 is that each student has to have a written opting in consent from their parent or guardian to see the program. And we
All right,
provide,
thank you for that.
we provide those to the different districts and campuses that we partner with as well.
All right, thank you for that
Is that-
information.
Is that also for high school?
Yes, that's for K through 12, as far as I know. Is that correct,
Yes.
Crystal? Do you know?
Yes.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, great.
Are there other questions?
How are you? I've got just one. When you stated that there's 60% of the high school not having sex, that means 40% that are. Question is, how do we reach them?
Yeah, well, the question is how to reach the 40%.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, I think that's a great question. And I think that programs like these and homes that are that is consistent with the messaging of waiting is helpful. As you know, kids, they're individuals, so they do make their own choices and have to live with the consequences of their choices. So we've actually seen over the last 2 years that number improved by 2%. So we celebrate the 2%, and that there is a trend towards students waiting and delaying sex longer. So I think we're on the right track. Of course, there's always going to be individuals that decide to go the opposite way, but that's a question that we wrestle with every day here at Just Say Yes when it comes to our sexual health programs. How do we reach the students that are deciding to have sex? And just so y'all know, after our programs, we do a survey with the students, and you will get those survey results. And what is really exciting with the survey results that you'll see in the survey letter that we'll provide for you is we'll lay out for you how many students have had sex and how many students are now making a choice because of the program to not have sex until they're in that long-term committed relationship or marriage. So we do see that change happening within, believe it or not, an hour. There's power in that 1 hour that we have with them. And there are students that are making that choice to decide to wait, even if they have had sex in the past.
One thing, Johnny, too, is we've been doing a presentation, kind of the legal aspects associated with having sex, and we've been doing that at the 11th grade. A lot of our 11th graders' comments have been they wish they knew this information earlier, because like what is considered rape and the age differences and things like that and the consequences of pregnancy, they didn't realize everything that's involved. And that's one thing that in the past we've kind of talked, we'd like to drop that down. If it is something that continues in our school district, drop that down to a younger level so they have the information at an earlier time. I think that would help them.
There is a question in chat. How do you address it for youth who are already sexually active without creating an environment of shame?
Yeah, We do address making a decision to wait from now on from our 7th to 12th grade sexual health programs. We do not talk to students who have had sex in the 6th grade level, because we are talking to, as you saw the stats, that majority of the 13 and under, they are not having sex. So we do talk to students and let them know that if they have made a decision to have sex, they could decide today to put that old lifestyle behind them and to make a different choice, so they can avoid some of the consequences that we're talking about. That is something that we consider. We're constantly changing our language. It is good for y'all to know that we do update our programs every summer. We take the feedback from the community, parents, students, and we really mull over it. And we have a professional advisory board that consists of doctors, administrators, teachers that sit on our board to help us come up with the best language. So we're staying away from shaming. We're staying away from triggering certain people who have different experiences when it comes to sex. So we try our best, to the best of our ability, to be as careful as possible to have language that is avoiding shame and things of that sort. As some of y'all may or may not know that our programs are scripted. So we're a team of 8 speakers, and we're all saying the same thing. And our script is very carefully put together, so that we can avoid some of the things that you just mentioned.
So I know that you said that you give, I know that you said that, you have presentations for parents, but this day and time, we don't have that many parents that attend the things at nighttime. Is there a way that something could be put on the school website as a link to where a parent could see it from there?
That's a really great question, Donna. I'm so glad that you asked that question. So we actually have seen parent engagement increase during the COVID pandemic by offering live stream options and not just in-person options. So if that's something that we would love the opportunity to do that here in Red Oak. It does create more flexibility for parents. And like I said, we have seen across the board engagement go up for parents for a live stream option. And so that would be where Red Oak would provide, like a Zoom link, just like we did tonight with the password. And then our speaker would come on and present the information to the parents that way.
Yeah, and we do understand that schedules are busy, and Meredith did mention House Bill 1525, and to be in compliance with that bill, we also provide parent synopsis of the program. So at the very least, if they're not able to make a live stream presentation, they can have the content where they're getting a synopsis of the content. So pieces of that script is provided for them, and they'll walk away having a good reference for the content and whether they want their student to view it or not.
Because with me working with juveniles, I know that so many parents have no clue of the laws on the sexting.
Mm-hmm.
They have no clue of their children, how much it could cost them if they get caught in that area.
Yes.
So I think parents need to be more aware of what's going on those phones.
I agree.
Yes.
I will say this, I don't know how many programs I have participated in and observed. This is well done. It's very professional. As a counselor at the high school, speaking on that end, but even as a parent, seeing it through the counselor lens as well as the parent lens, like this is so well done. It's so well done. I have every year, I have multiple students who come to me afterwards saying, oh my gosh, I thought everybody was having sex, air quotes, everybody was having sex. So even with the presenter, and we've had Crystal more than one time, they're so believable because they just have a way, we're in the PAC, but the speakers have a way that they bring the audience to them, where most of the students really, they don't feel embarrassed. They don't feel, now there may be a little squeamish, and sometimes high schoolers are really silly at times, because some of it is uncomfortable. But for the most part about shaming, earlier someone spoke about shaming, I don't sense that. Now, there may be, I have had on occasion students who come to me and talk about sexual abuse. Now, in that case, but it's not that the program may have triggered something else, but it's not that the program was shaming. And so I just wanted that to be clear. I wholeheartedly would say that Aim for Success is a program that I would even say, yes, my own children to participate in Aim for Success. And I'm pretty conservative. We're pretty conservative in my house. And we have open conversations. But even on the end of having a different voice, saying it more than one time, saying the same thing about the laws, I will say that I would piggyback off of what Sue said. We were in agreement last year. We started saying that students are experiencing things sooner. And so for the 11th grade program, I will agree that if we can get it approved for 10th grade, it's not inappropriate for 10th grade. It's just that hopefully it will safeguard and people will make better decisions. Students will make better decisions and choices because now they have more information.
Andrea, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're so thankful for your partnership there at the high school. So, and yes, we would love the opportunity to impact the 10th graders as well.
And yes, hi everyone. My name is Doricia Ford, and I'm a newcomer to the family. So I am representing Red Oak Elementary, and I really enjoyed hearing this presentation. It kind of takes me back to my junior high school days when we went through sexual education, and it kind of reminds me because there's so many different categories that we run into with kids. You know, when there's something that we're going through, we wait for someone else to speak about it, and we're always silent. And even if we are embarrassed or we are not sure of our identities, we wait for the word of other people so we can get a hint of which direction to go. And I understand the direction of teaching kids about sex education, but there again, as the gentleman had mentioned earlier, again, we have a 40% that are having sex. And of course, we don't want to shun them out. And we also want to teach them about maintaining a healthy sexual relationship, not only with themselves, but also with their partners. And I believe that we have so many different values, so many different beliefs. And I come from Oakland, California from 14 years ago, and there's so much sex trafficking that's going on. It's there, it's true, it's here. And when some children are afraid to step up or they've been caught up in that category, we got to teach them about how to have a voice. We got to teach them about how to maintain their bodies, because clearly they're being passed off from one to another. And I am so sure that children who are in high school, children are in junior high school, they know somebody that either they're keeping secrets for or they're having conversations with. And if we can include that of how to maintain, how to keep our bodies sexually hygienic, I think that is very important, especially with having a voice of how to get out.
Yeah, and the Freedom to Succeed, which would be for 11th graders, we do talk about teen dating violence, and just this year we added sex trafficking and the laws concerning that. So we are addressing some of that at the 11th grade level.
Great.
It's so good. It's so necessary, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do you have, hi, this is Sheila, and I wanted to ask, do you have written material that you will be leaving with the children after the program?
We do not have any handouts or brochures that we would leave with them.
Well, Crystal, can you briefly talk about the are we going to be doing the next step booklets?
Yes,
for the 6th grade?
That is true. Thank you.
Sure.
For the 5th graders, for the puberty adolescent talk, they'll have a workbook that will go through with them throughout the program, and they do get to keep that workbook with them. So it's a summary of everything that we talked about. We guide them on how to take notes about the content, so they do walk away with kind of a summary book of what we discussed with them.
And that's for our Next Step program, which is different than this Aim for Success program that you saw the slides for. But I believe that Sue sent that program outline to you all.
Yes, they got them all.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When you do have, in the lower grades, the 5th, 6th, 7th, with these kids going through and on the education part of it, what about the parents? Are the parents involved as well? I know they had to opt in, but how involved are they? So those two can communicate, the child and the parents. So there's open line of communication, in case the child is, like I said, being approached, and how can they talk to their parents about it?
Yeah, so with our parent programs, we hope that parents will take advantage of those programs, because they're seeing exactly what their students will see. So they know the content that they're getting, they know questions that they might have, they know content that the students may wrestle with. So they're getting it before the students. And we do provide some parent education to help them, if they choose, to reinforce some of the messaging that we're including in our program, so that they can parent their child to the best of their ability when it comes to the content that we're sharing about sexual health. So the parent programs are big. We've been happy to see just parent engagement increasing, especially since this past year, and I think that's awesome. So I think the biggest place for parents to get the knowledge and to really be able to support their children as much as possible is, attending those parent programs that we provide.
Thank you.
Yes.
And you also have material on your website that parents can also purchase, as well as other materials that might support parent resources that might support parents moving forward after the presentation.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
So I do have a question. It might be more like for the school or directed towards the school, but how is it handled for the kids that opt in versus the kids that opt out? Like whenever the presentation is going to take place, is it like, only the select few of kids that have opted in get to go to the presentation and then all these other kids are left behind? Or I'm just unsure, like, especially in the younger grades, like how that works.
Well, what we do is the majority usually opt in. It's rare for people to opt out, but the ones that opt out, they go to a classroom or they might have a special activity for them. They're all, so they have something. They're not just sitting in a classroom, with nothing to do, but usually they're in a classroom with the teachers, they're supervised, and they have, a program or something that they're doing. They may watch a movie, they may do something else during that hour to occupy them.
Okay, and then the other question I had was, I know in the material that you had went over with the different things that you cover, I didn't see anything about like as far as like sex education, as far as protection or anything like that for the students that possibly are already having sex. Do you cover any of that in the upper grades?
Yes, so 7th through 12th grade in our sexual health programs, we do talk about contraception.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And they cover its effectiveness. So it always leads back to the better choice is to wait.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you.
There's another comment, I think, in the chat. I'll read. There are so many cultural, social, economic differences. 5th grade is about the time puberty hits most students. This is a pivotal stage for introducing sexual health.
And I do want to say in 4th grade, the school nurses are doing like for the females, for the girls only, a puberty class, discussing the fact of, their period and what causes the period and just basic information. We use a program that's put out by Procter and Gamble that we do with 5th grade girls. And now, with 4th grade girls. And then now we, a couple years ago, went with the Next Up program for Aim for Success. And we divide the boys and girls. And we have been doing this Aim for Success. And it's more information, it's more interactive. By this age, they're willing to ask questions a little more openly than they are at 4th. And it's been great because it kind of builds on itself and it's been well received. Yeah. So right now, currently our programs for Aim for Success are 5th, 6th, and 11th grade. We have a program that we've been using in the middle school and also at the 9th grade level that is called Choosing the Best. But the information we're getting feedback is outdated, and that's kind of a turnoff. And also it takes 5 days of science class to do, and that's been a difficulty too, because it's taking so much time away from a core subject. So I'm going to recommend that we eliminate that program for those reasons, but we can discuss that after.
I have one question. What are we prepared to deal with the child that actually has been abused but has not disclosed, and this opens the way for them to talk about it? Are the instructors or the teachers or the school kind of aware of that or have a plan if that happens?
Well, yes. We do know that, it can stimulate issues or concerns that they have or bring up their past history. And we have counselors on our campuses that we can take the child to the counselors and make them available, especially in our middle school and high school. We have crisis counselors that would be a resource for these children.
But as far as reporting as well, because if they're just opening up and disclosing, there has to be a report has to be generated. And that's something that people need to be aware about, that it's not like, oh, it just happened in the past. We just assume that it's being dealt with, or that the child has said it, and it has to be a certain level of it's not investigation, it's just making sure that it's something that has been dealt with in the past.
And all of our teachers, all of our staff are trained on reporting an outcry. The person that they go to and tell, the first one told is the one to report.
Right.
So yes, that is something that's an annual training with all of our staff members.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions that have our presenters left? Are they still here?
We're still here.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I didn't see your smiling face, so I wasn't sure. Are there any other questions for the presenters? If not, we can let them go and enjoy their evening.
Thank you so much. Y'all enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a
Thank
great
you.
presentation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for
We
your
appreciate
time.
the
It's awesome.
opportunity.
Yes.
All right. Y'all have a great evening. Bye-bye.
All right, bye, ladies.
Okay, I know not everyone was here when we started, and there is a statement that I want to again say that, we've been asked to kind of, SHAC is, one of our duties is to make recommendations for curriculum for the district in regards to human sexuality instruction. And if human sexuality curriculum is even discussed within Red Oak ISD, it's ultimately the board's decision. And Aim for Success was one of the options that they felt was most in line with the majority of district beliefs and would be a possible acceptable option. So our discussion is to, we want to make sure that anything we discuss, that we need to consider the option if it's suitable in subject and grade level. And we only make recommendations. We are not the deciding factor. Anything that we would recommend would go to the board, and it's the Board of Trustees that makes the decision if it's going to be happening in our schools. So I think what we would like to do is, discuss this. If this is something that we think we want to recommend to the school board, it would be something that would have to be brought to them in the near future. I would like to make a recommendation to eliminate Choosing the Best as a program. When we first went in, we had two different programs, Aim for Success, which is the 1 hour presentation, and then also Choosing the Best, which was a video and a workbook. And it really has been outdated. They have not kept up with it. It's been the same from the beginning. And I really think it's something that we need to eliminate in the length of time that's involved in teaching and a core subject. So, okay. Any thoughts?
I agree.
Recommendations?
I also agree, Sue. I also agree.
Okay.
I would agree to have Aim for Success, maybe do a program at 9th grade. And so if that can be considered moving forward, what would be appropriate? So if we, or as we talked about, the program that's usually taught to the juniors, moving that down to 10th grade and then having a separate for the seniors. So it'd be sophomores and seniors at the high school level.
And not for the 9th grade. You're thinking 10th grade and
correct. If we do 10th grade, then I don't know what the budget's like. So ideally, I would say, one of the things that they discussed that was an option last year when we were talking in the discussions was that for me, it could be like the program that usually is for juniors, they're now seniors. Those juniors are now seniors, right? So they're on their way out. So it could really be to saturate, to do 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, the same program. And then next year, look at what that looks like as a variant. Because this program that the juniors have gotten, this is the program that has always been, as long as I've been there, 8 years. And so this program is already approved. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So the only thing would be is that what if we saturate? So it would be 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. Of course, not all together. Just an option. If we're replacing Choosing the Best, which I agree to replace that program.
So I'll speak up too. And I think that having it in the 9th grade is like pretty important just because it's going into the first year of high school. I feel like there's going to be a lot of pressure, at least from my experience. Now, if the curriculum for the 9th grade is like the same as the 11th grade, I'm not sure if I agree about that. I don't know how they could do that, but I think that it is pretty essential to have in all of the upper grades for sure.
It's the program that basically talks about the law. And so I think 9th grade, it covers it very well because it speaks about age differences. And so you've got true 14-year-olds who are 9th graders who are coming, and you might have a senior who's actually a 20-year-old if they're over age, but you have 19-year-olds. And so that whole age difference, just because they're in high school. And so that's one of the ahas that I see with the students. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. It's just kind of this idea that they're in high school now. So I should be able to date them. And that's not the case.
Can I ask for clarification on something? Looking at the agenda, I thought the 5th grade was a standalone. And then I thought the other two presentations included like 6th, 7th, 8th, and the other grades. What am I missing? I heard somebody say that the programs that were being presented tonight was intended for the 5th, 6th, and 11th grade.
The 5th grade program is pretty much a standalone program.
Right.
It's a puberty talk. The others kind of build on themselves. The one that is that they went over was really the 6th grade program. And then the other one, Freedom to Succeed, is one we've been doing in 11th grade. Because we go over, that's when we brought in the legal aspects. And we were doing that in high school in the 11th grade. We had in the kind of in between there, we had the Choosing the Best program. And we're asking for that to be eliminated since it's out of date. But this Freedom to Succeed with the legal, we're talking, we'd like to drop that down because our students are saying, gosh, I wish I knew this before. They've already had a situation where they didn't realize the legal ramifications of what they were doing. And so I really would like to have that drop down to a lower level. But you can use it at any grade level, 7th through 12th. But we're thinking the legal aspects more is going to be high school level. So there can be used whatever grade level. They have other programs and you know that are available. These are the ones that we selected. I know when we brought it to the board years ago, I think it was in 2012, the one comment and negative comment made was, why don't we have a program in every grade level? And we were like, well, we didn't want to, you know, ask for all of this because we didn't know financially, we didn't want to put a burden. And we were looking at bringing in multiple groups to get more different opinions. But I really have not, I've been searching and haven't found anything. And I know Aim for Success, it's a very conservative group. And they're very professional in their presentations and they handle the kids very well. I like that they have interactive games, kind of get some of the sillies out and some of the noise, and then they focus in on the presentation.
Okay, I just thought it included more grades. Reading the material, it says included would be at the top of the agendas. You know, the 5th grade is the standalone, and then on the next agenda, it says includes grades. I don't have it in front of me.
It says includes age appropriate versions for 6th grade. They choose the version. They have like one version that they do for 6th graders, another version for 7th and 8th, another version for 9 through 12. That way it's age appropriate for the group they're talking to. So they do variations to the grade level they're talking with.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So that's a good point.
I thought it was one presentation would be for example 6th, 7th, 8th. That's what I was thinking. Okay.
Yeah, I can see. I see where you're. Yeah. Any other questions? Do we want to present Aim for Success as an option to be presented to the school board for them to consider if they're going to do sex ed instruction in the district?
So I don't know if you saw in the chat, there's another comment. I'm in agreement with dropping it. This is from Cassie. I'm in agreement with dropping it to 10th grade. Can we recommend it for 10th and 11th for this year? Then have the 5th and 6th programs as well as one for 9th.
We can make that recommendation, whatever we choose to recommend.
one comment is when we're talking about the 9th grade, that's when they're leaving, you know, the middle school and going into the high school. They're going into a totally different environment. And this is where I kind of feel they need to have an understanding coming in. So maybe it is vital to have it at the 9th grade.
The
You know,
legal aspects at the 9th grade.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I just have a question for the group. Just we all come from different backgrounds and just different levels from society. At what age do you think that sexual education, what age do you think children are getting interested in sex?
I'm gonna take a risk, and I'm gonna say, because so many students at elementary, upper elementary, have access to full-on iPhones, full-on, not the flip phones, not the little phones that just call one way in and out, and no internet. They're much younger than we think.
Okay.
Because as Crystal has said in one of the presentations that I heard that has stuck with me through the years, is that most children have access to sexual content. They're 3 clicks away, even with the best parental safeguards, 3 clicks away, because it's the bait and switch. So it's the bait to get them to click on this, and then this would allow you an opening. I mean, they just know how, these hackers know how to get around it. So I think they're being introduced sooner than we think, at a much younger age than we think.
And I agree with that. You know, just for just open discussion, it's just like children, and I have young children. I have stair steppers. I have 6, 7, and 8, and I believe about maybe 4 or 5. I had my kids. They got out the shower, and I said, "Hey, go lotion your bodies down." And one of my kids was just to the right of me. He was just giggling and just laughing. You guys can get a joke out of this. He was just giggling and laughing. I was doing my daughter's hair. I said, "What are you laughing about?" And then I saw what he was doing. He was exploring his body. And I was just like, "Well, what are you doing?" You know, and at that moment, you know, although he was young and although it was like a first introduction to me to kind of maneuver and teach him about his body, I agree with you. You know, it wasn't just the entertainment world, it was him exploring to understand this is a different part of my body that's just giving me a different type of pleasure. So how do we maneuver that even with children in junior and elementary, to teach them about their bodies first? I think that's the first stage. How do we teach them about their bodies and how their bodies change and different pleasures from their bodies that's going to change over time as they become more adult-like humans? And then step into the part about teaching them about exploring in the outside world. And there's so many kids, unfortunately, that are abused. There are so many different children, again, that are trafficked. There's so many children that are kidnapped, unfortunately. But if we pull back and start introducing parents of how to talk to their children and taking those special moments, those learning curves of teaching their children about their bodies. In most cases, some of us haven't been taught. We had to learn as we went, but now we have the opportunity of so much access to resources that once we have to go to the libraries or open up the encyclopedia for, again, we have 1-year-olds or kids who are not even 1-year-olds on iPads, you know, that are learning things. So I do agree with the previous person that just spoke, but before we just dive into relationships or monogamy or STDs, we have to first start with teaching children about their bodies.
And I think that comes in on 4th grade with with the girls' puberty talk. And then also 5th grade, they're going into puberty. What are the changes that their bodies are going through? Why are they going through it? What are the hormones? What are the different things? And that Next Up program goes into that. Not so much relationships, but just your body. So, I mean, those are programs that we have. And I understand, you know, it's a lot of times teaching moments in your home to go over things with your child as a parent.
I think she's right, but I think besides teaching them about their body, we need to teach them what's normal behavior, what's an appropriate touch, what's an affectionate normal touch that they should accept, and what is something that makes them feel uncomfortable. And then they should speak about. And I agree that it comes at an early age. Maybe they haven't experienced or are not interested in knowing their body yet or in sex, but they have a classmate or a friend who has experienced some, and then we'll talk to them about it or make them explore. And kids explore at a very young age. So I think that it's important that they know when to speak up. The only way they would recognize normal behavior is they experience normal and know what is an acceptable behavior, what is a well-intended behavior, you know, what's their parent love and their affection. And I think that we've become a little bit more isolated and distant, and now they don't even know what's appropriate and what's not sometimes.
When I was an elementary counselor, I think those are great points. When I was an elementary counselor, those are the kinds of things that in a very simplistic way, talk to students about, you know, what to do with your hands, what to do with your feet, what to do with your body, whose body is it? And so very simple things like that through classroom guidance. We would introduce it with, you said appropriate touching, like kindergarten would be, you know, he stepped on my shoe, he slapped me, I wanted this, so I just took it from them. And so it would just be a slow build into that. It was not necessarily sexual, but it was, this is your body, it belongs to you. Did you take this from this person? Did you hit her? Was that appropriate? So you're right, appropriate touch, gentle with your hands, gentle with your feet, walking feet, running feet. And so those kinds of things, I think, are conversations that I can't say for sure because I am not elementary in Red Oak, but I'm confident that the counselors at elementary are having those kinds of classroom guidance. And it might be something that we explore more.
Yeah, I agree. Because in elementary, children are just now learning how to clean themselves hygienically, right?
Very true.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns?
I know that we do the presentation with 5th grade girls. So
fourth grade girls.
Okay,
for
fourth grade
puberty,
girls.
and then 5th grade, the girls and boys.
Okay, because I was going to say, even some of those girls are starting much younger these days than seems like when I was growing up, and even my own daughter was growing up.
Yeah, and I'll totally agree with that, Donna. I have a daughter that's in 4th grade, and I had no idea that the school was even going to do any sort of speech, or the nurse would be talking with her about it. I mean, of course, like I would like to preface her speech with the nurse, but I didn't know that that was even a thing that was going to happen. Is that also something that we opt in or opt out of?
Yes, any of our programs are an opt-in program. And that one always has been an opt-in. You get a notification, usually a couple weeks before the program. You have the opportunity to watch the video. It's a Procter & Gamble video. You can watch it. It's, you know, just with the girls. Usually, we used to do it at the end of the year, but they're kind of asking it to be done. The last few years, they've wanted it done in March. Some principal might say they want it at the beginning of the school year. But it is school to school, and it's the nurse on the campus that does the presentation. But you will always know about any presentation that's being done that has anything to do with sexual education or puberty or anything like that. It's going to, the parents are always informed, and we have to have a written signature.
Okay, thank you for that information.
You're welcome. Okay. All right. So I guess, Deb, do you want to do a vote on this? Is if this is something that we want to recommend? It's only a recommendation.
And also, before we do that, do we want to decide which ones do we want to it to try to send it to 9, 10, and 11? Or do we want to just try the 9 and 11? Andrea, what's your choice on that? Because that's mainly all your kids, pretty much.
Well, I agree with the statements that ninth graders are coming into high school, and it's just very different now that you're used to being the oldest on your campus. Now you're the youngest. Within a matter of a few months, you're the youngest on the campus. So I agree that I think we should explore the idea, and I don't know whether or not this program would be the program, but I think we should explore the idea because we've had something at ninth grade, an option for ninth grade. I like this program because it not only talks about the law, it introduces, like she said, it's going to introduce human trafficking, sexual exploitation. So it's not just the idea of somebody being kidnapped and taken away from your family to be used as a sex slave. This is a new version of this. Sexual exploitation is way more savvy than we even think. And so it would explore that, she said, but also toxic relationships. Like it talks about what's healthy, what's not okay. Teen dating violence is the way they put it, teen dating violence, and what that really means. They break that down. And then so it covers healthy relationships, healthy dating relationships. If you're going to choose to date, it is not pushing dating, but then what that really looks like and who you should report it to. And then of course it covers the sexting and the inappropriate nature about if you're going to get involved sexually and the age and what the law says. And it gives real scenarios of real, not, these are out of state people, but real scenarios of people who've gotten into trouble because they thought they were dating someone within the boundaries of age, and then what that really looks like for them and how life-changing that was. And of course, it talks about pregnancy and all that goes with that. So yes, I believe ninth grade, we need to have something for ninth grade, even if it's not this program.
So would you like this program for 9th, like you said earlier, I think 9th and 11th or 9th and 10th, or?
If we, because of money, right? And the way it would work, we could probably work it out in one day that we do 9th and 11th grade, which would not mean more money. We probably can work that out where it's 9th and June, on one day.
Okay.
And then also for the 6th graders, Sue, that program for 6th grade as well.
We do have a program for the 6th grade.
Okay.
Currently.
So we're just voting on the program for the 9th and 11th graders.
Well, we're really voting on Aim for Success.
Okay, Aim for Success. All right.
So that would be the 5th, 6th, 9th, and 11th, correct?
That's what we can recommend. I can't say that that's what would happen. 5th, 6th, 9th, and 11th is what people seem to be wanting. Okay.
All righty, so I guess we'll go ahead and vote.
Never voted on for the 7th and 8th graders, huh? I just
never voted on the Zoom.
Crucial age. I mean, that's such a, I don't know. Yeah, but
well, it depends on the finances and if there's going to be a program. So yeah, I mean, ideally it would be wonderful to have something in every grade level.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true.
So
Students are, I agree, students are sexually active sooner than we think. Like I have students who are saying things to me like, I finally got my first boyfriend and they're in 10th grade. And I said, well, you're not late. And it's this impression that they are. And so I think things are starting sooner. There are some things that students are experiencing at middle school that really used to be a, total high school kind of experience. So I've been hearing that more this year. I finally in a relationship. And we're talking about younger students, not seniors.
alrighty, so can we go ahead and give a verbal vote, either yay or nay for the program?
Yay.
Connection.
I vote yes.
I will
I'll vote-
yay.
I vote yes.
Yes.
And this program would also be available, or say the presentation would also be available to anybody that would like to attend. Isn't that correct? I mean, you have the parent presentation, but then the child presentation, say someone from the school could attend that, or someone from the SHAC committee could attend, or a parent.
I know on the puberty talk for our 4th grade, we allow moms and women that are associated with a child to attend the girls' presentation. And we only allow the fathers or the male figures to attend that presentation, only to allow the children to feel more comfortable. Sometimes when there are a lot of people in there, now the teachers are in there because their whole class is in there. The teachers have gone in to the presentations. I think that's something that we can look at, of bringing outsiders in usually, and that's something we can look at, for the future when we do these. Usually they're done in March. If they're not done right away, they're usually done a little later on in the year. But there's nothing secretive. It's all the information. It's the exact same slide, the exact same information that's given on the parent presentation. I have gone to both, and Ms. Jones has been at both. There is no change. Everything that is shown at the parent is shown to the student, and nothing alters from that.
The only difference is at the very end, they survey the students. And so at the parent meeting, they will show you the survey, but the difference is that they actually survey the students at the end. With no name. They don't provide a name, it's just the data.
So you'll have a parent group for the 5th grade, then you'll have a parent meeting for the 6th grade and a parent meeting for the 9th, and okay.
Yes, very definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's imperative that we be transparent with the parent. No doubt.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry, I'm sitting on one side, I'm sitting on the other.
I love it.
That was awesome. He just wheeled into another room. You're on mute. You're on mute, Donna.
I got it.
Okay, now mine's up. Hold on a second.
Technology.
Hello.
Hey. I was just saying it's got to be, totally transparent with the parents, everything
Yes.
that's we're doing, the parent has to be involved. The parent has to have an understanding, ultimately it's the parent's responsibility.
Correct.
So that's where I just want to make sure as we step forward and present it to the board, they have a clear understanding, of what's being presented, and because the clarification of it and the clarity of it is going to be imperative, you know, so we know what's going on. And that can be shared.
Right. And it's not that it's secretive, but oftentimes students will not talk up or will not interact if they know their parents or people are watching them. They're not as comfortable. And that's the only reason that there would be any hesitation, because honestly, you know, I've been to both and multiple times, and Miss Jones could answer that too. It is exactly the same. I'm very confident in this group from the years of seeing them and working with them.
Tamara, can I get your vote, please?
Yes.
Okay. And Donna?
Yes.
Johnny?
Yes.
Johnny's not non-voter.
I'm a abstain. Yeah.
Got you. Alma? You're on mute. I'm sorry.
I vote yes.
Thank you. Dr. Rebecca?
Yes.
Callie?
Yes.
Dorisha?
Yes.
Awesome. That's a unanimous pass for AIM success.
Thank you.
All right. So now we're going to try to back up a little bit and we're going to do the welcome. And if each person could introduce themselves and who they're representing, whether it's a school or you're just representing community. I'll go first. I'm Deb Harner. I work at Wooden, but I don't know what I do. I do staff stuff for SHAC. I do your agendas and call and get you to become a member of SHAC for us. So, Vicki.
Hi, I'm Victoria Ibarra. I'm the food service director. I've been at the district. This is going on my 8th year. So I've been a SHAC member all that time. And I really enjoy being a part of this committee.
Sue?
Sue Brown, I'm Director of Health Services for Red Oak ISD. I guess I've been here about 18 years now and have been on SHAC since, was with it with an old committee, and then we revised and renewed it because it is a requirement for each district, and have been on it since the onset back in, I think, 2010, I believe, is when we renewed it.
There's somebody that called in by phone. Your number is 972.
Deb, I believe that is Sheila's number. And I think she's using the phone so she can hear, and then she's on her iPad.
Okay, gotcha. We're good.
Am I right, Sheila? Is that
Yes,
right?
thank you. Thank you.
Donna, please.
Well, I am a community member, retired after 34 years from Red Oak ISD. So I'm very interested in what goes on with our kids, both with health issues and all of the habits that they can get into.
Johnny?
I'm actually one of the school board members. So this information I think is very valuable. But like I said, that's who I am. I've been on the board 9 years. So it goes by quick.
Awesome. Megan?
Hi, I'm Megan Woodford, the secondary math, science, health, and PE coordinator. And I've been in the district for 14 years now. So I've taught choosing the best to our 7th grade students before, and now I'm taking on this role.
Alma?
Hi, my name is Alma Sosa, and I'm mom of 3 kids.
She's representing Wood.
Yes, sorry.
You're good. Cassie, is it Cassie? Audio's not working. I'm going to introduce Cassie for you because her audio is not working. She says, hi, I'm Cassie Street. I'm having audio issues. I'm a parent of a 4th grader at Shields and a 9th grader. I'm also the COO of REACH, Council Prevention Services, which provides substance use prevention, education, and recovery support services in Ellis County. And Tasha, also her audio is not working. And she is the parent representative for Shutman Elementary. This will be my second year as a member of SHAC. Sheila?
I'm a Red Oak, I'm sorry, I'm an Ovilla citizen. My children graduated from Red Oak. We've been here about 40 years and I'm just trying to take an interest in the kids. So love it. I appreciate y'all's help.
Dr. Rebecca?
Okay, and hi, I'm Dr. Rebecca Piantini. I'm a pediatrician in Red Oak Galaxy Pediatrics, and I have been with the, I don't know, 9-10 years since I've been in Red Oak, close to that time. And yeah, it's good to be part of something that will make a difference in kids.
Callie?
Yeah, so I'm Callie and I am the Eastridge elementary representative. I have a 4th grade daughter and then also a son who is in 1st grade and then also a toddler at home. And I also sit on the PTA board for Eastridge.
Dorisha?
Yes, hi again. My name is Doricia. I am a mother of 3 that attends Red Oak Elementary. I am a manager for AT&T for the past 20 plus years. I migrated here from Oakland, California. I've been here for about 14 years in the Red Oak community. So I am a parent that's representing Red Oak Elementary. So here I am.
Thank you. Tamara?
Hi. I guess my name is Tamara Franklin. I am a sub for the district. I'm also a Red Oak graduate. I also serve as president for the PTSA at the high school. So I am around students all day, every day. This is my first year on SHAC. I heard about it at the PTSA annual conference over the summer and back and ran into Sue and told her I wanted to join. So I'm glad to be here.
Eve?
My name is Eve Spearman. I have a son who's a freshman this year. I've lived in the Red Oak area for a little over 20 years now, and I've served on SHAC for a couple, 2-3 years now.
Sherelle?
Hello, my name is Sherelle Shaw. I have 2 kiddos. One is at Shields Elementary, a 3rd grader, and then I have a 7th grader at the middle school. I think this is my 4th year serving on SHAC, and I am representing Shields Elementary.
And Andrea?
Yes, I'm Andrea Jones. I'm the support counselor at Red Oak High School. And anyway, I've been in the district maybe 7.5 years. This is my 8th year.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for being a member of SHAC. This is the first time for the very first meeting that we have had every school represented at our very first meeting. So that is awesome.
Yay, that's great.
So we really appreciate your time. I know this meeting's running over, but they are not normally this long. So sorry about that. So
we got to some meaty subjects very early this year, didn't we?
Yes.
We don't normally start out this way.
The next thing we need to do is we need to have an election of officers. We just have 3 offices. We have the president, vice president, and secretary. Do we have anyone that would volunteer to be president? Anybody? I hear crickets.
Yeah, put me in the bleachers. I'll be in the bleachers.
I'll volunteer to be an officer.
Okay, which one?
Whichever one nobody else will take.
Does anybody want that president spot? We have a volunteer. Everybody thumbs up if you're good with Eve being president.
Go Eve.
And then we now need a vice president. The vice president is you would have to take over the meeting if Eve does not show up. She's been pretty reliable. She has been here pretty often. So anybody willing to be her backup?
I'll be your backup as long as I'm a
Ooh.
backup.
Honest, there you go, there you go.
Eve,
Thank
you
you,
cannot be
Donna.
absent.
Yay.
Everybody's good with Donna, two thumbs up.
Thumbs up twice.
Awesome, awesome. And then we need a secretary. In the past, the secretaries had to take notes, but this year everything is recorded. So we will already have that on. We still
So
need
they
a
might be,
secretary.
yeah,
We
they
still
could
need a
do,
few notes in case our recording goes bad.
yeah.
Anyone?
I'll volunteer.
Awesome. Thank you, Callie. Everybody good with Callie?
Yay. Yes.
Yay,
Thank
thumbs
you.
up.
Thank you.
Awesome. So great, we have our officers. Our next thing is our meeting dates for this year. November, it's always the first Tuesday of the month. So our next one would fall on November 2nd. And then we don't have another one until February 1st and March 1st. Everybody's good with those meeting dates?
Yes. Those are great.
Okay,
Yes.
those are approved. Everybody approves?
Yes.
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 Yes from everybody. I'm watching the cameras very closely.
Yes.
For anybody that does not approve, that would be easier. Anybody that does not approve of those dates? Okay. All right.
Are you going to send out Zoom details?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to send out Zoom meeting details for each meeting? Or
Yes,
is it gonna
yes, you will get an email from me. I'll send out the, I usually kind of wait till the week before so we get an agenda to send with it. But I may go ahead and schedule them and send all of them out and you accept all of them. And if anything gets changed, you'll get an updated email and we'll attach the agendas as they're ready right before the meeting.
Okay.
And then the last thing for, well, this would be under new business. And we need to kind of come up with something that we would maybe like to do. Possibly, we've had some thoughts on having possibly a kind of an information fair, like a fun community information fair kind of, where we could include some things like bicycle safety, car seat safety, the appropriate car seats, the appropriate size, booster seats, something like that. Diabetes awareness, especially among the kids, for the parents, that is. We can see what resources are available in the city that we could also get them to come and talk about the things that they have. We used to have these really cool programs, Donna's programs, that's what they are. The hidden drug program was amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. And I know
We can still do that.
and that would be a place, but it would have to be a place where we don't have kids, right? We'd have to have something else for the kids possibly. But if you didn't have the opportunity to see her program, oh Lord, are you going to get your eyes open with that? Because that is truly amazing. And another
Cassie,
one,
I need my stuff.
and another one that we had that was really interesting was about internet safety, but also about app awareness. And they had a presentation on those things. When she talked about, hey, you need to look at your kids' phones, that's a true deal. I mean, just one of the things that I remember about that app awareness was everybody has that photo icon, the camera icon on your phone. But when you touch that icon, it took them to an adult chat room, which it looked, you wouldn't think anything about that, but it's
right.
just, it's a picture of the camera icon. And that's the one that stuck in my head the most. But there were so many other things that they have so much information that would be available to parents and things like that. Anybody else have any thoughts on possibly that be our project for this year?
I think that's great. And we can utilize our resource with the high schoolers. So like NHS, ROTC, those student council, those kinds of organizations, they require that those students receive volunteer hours. And so we would have adults, but then we can have those students helping with childcare so that we have more parents to come out.
Social media safety.
Yes.
Yes. And also, right now, we still have to have social distancing and stuff, but if weather permitting, if we could have that maybe in the courtyard of the high school where we could still spread out and set everything up and just be in that horseshoe shape, it would still give us plenty of space and we could still have our distance that we need. Just kind of a come and go thing.
And I think, like you said, interactive with like bicycle safety. That would be something that, could keep the children busy while their parents are at another presentation or whatever. I think it's wonderful. I think it's great to bring something like that. We haven't had our families together in our community for 2 years. So I think something like that would be awesome.
TxDOT, I mean, it's been several years since we did it, but we did that child safety thing where they even got free car seats that day. So I'd have to find my contacts. I think somebody else has my book now, but they used to come out and they would do it on a Saturday to where you just drive through, they check your seat, they show you the safety of putting the kids in the seats. And like I said, at that time, they gave new seats if they were out of date.
Yeah, that's something I didn't know, that they have an expiration date on them.
What? TxDOT also has, TxDOT has a demonstration with the car.
The rollover car, yes.
To show you the improper seats and the proper seats and being buckled in safely. It shows you how, they show you how that works, which was, that was really interesting as well.
And they've wanted to, I mean, they tried to bring it out one at the back to school fair one year, but it was raining, so they didn't get to do that. But I'm sure I can find those contact numbers if I need to.
And we should have that from if you have any trouble, we should have that, Deb, from our 2 years ago from the health fair.
Yes,
we had them there.
Absolutely, yes.
I just think it would be great to, that's something I think we could discuss next month and kind of think of ideas of things that you would like to have presented.
And I think getting, have Chief Pacifica involved in it, because there's so many things that would go under his, area as well, not just with the health, but the safety would be involving Chief.
Absolutely. That would too. Yeah, so if people could just think of some things possibly that might be interesting for those areas, and we can kind of check to see about those and kind of think of a date that we might want to try to slide that in. We will have to look at the district calendar and see. But we want to get on there pretty early to make sure we don't conflict with other things that's going on at that time.
Cassie, this is a REACH question, but are we delivering, and I'm on the board of directors of REACH, but are we delivering red ribbon material out since this is Red Ribbon Month? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Because for you, it is Red Ribbon Month, so it's all about saying no to drugs, alcohol, things like that. I always like, because Coach Harner took it from what we used to do with Project Success and put out those red tulips every year. You plant them in October during Red Ribbon Month. They start blooming usually March or April, and April is Alcohol Awareness Month. So you kind of tie the two in together. Thank you, Coach, for continuing on with that. That was one of those things that was very dear to my heart. But for you parents, it is a month that usually the last week in October is Red Ribbon Month. And it's interesting to know the things that are out there for our kids this day and time. All on the news today, people have been talking about the fentanyl and things like that. A girl died from the fentanyl. It's too easy for our kids to get a hold of it.
The Impact Street team will be set up in the Hawks Nest at some point during Red Ribbon Week.
There you go.
To give out students, yes, to give out red ribbons and all the things they like.
And that Impact team could be part of our program possibly in the spring?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We would love that.
And can y'all send out notices? I hate to admit this, but I'm terrible about going to the website and checking it. And if you need adult volunteers, I would be happy to do what I can. If you'll just let me know when, what, and where.
We'll be organizing it through SHAC, so we would want everyone in SHAC involved.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm learning still.
Yes, you are learning. And no, we really like your involvement. And usually when we've had these programs in the past where we put something together like this, even though we have 4 mandatory meetings, we often would have multiple meetings just in working on getting things together, having people help call agencies and get them, to participate, see if they're available. We really like to get everyone involved in that and for the whole event. Yeah, we'd love to have your help.
And some of those are not necessarily meetings. Sometimes we just shoot out an email and say, we have this list of people we need to contact. Can you let me know who you can contact for us? And it really doesn't take very much of your time. We put that health and safety fair, the very first one, together really fast, and it went off really well. It just takes right the day before and the day of. It takes us a little bit to help get started. We got some of the elementary student council groups to help the vendors carry things from their cars in, and like they say, they like to do community service things as well. So we get plenty of help. We do need the SHAC members, but it doesn't take a lot of your time. I don't want you to think that you're going to be bogged down with hours and hours and hours, because it's not like that. It's just a little bit of phone calling and a little bit of organization at the end.
Or wherever I'm needed.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate it.
if we do start planning like a Saturday or a nighttime event, I know that in our last impact meeting, where I don't know if it was the last one, I might have missed the last one, Andrea, but I know it was a topic because the organizations have been given money, COVID money. And so they're trying to figure out a way to spend it, because it was to be spent on family oriented things, whether it was buying food for the event or something like that. So they may be able to help us financially in that area.
What group did you say that was?
Impact. It's not,
Impact.
it's Impact who is in charge of it's DPRI, I guess, but it's Impact that helps with our impact team.
Okay.
I don't know if Cassie, did Reach get any of that money too from the COVID stuff that you're supposed to do, community involvement?
And Cassie is unable to unmute herself, so she may answer you in the chat.
Yes, I've been seeing it.
Okay.
We
Okay,
did,
she did, but for
but
Johnson County.
Johnson County.
So
Okay.
Impact is for Ellis County.
Okay.
So it might be, I can bring it up at our next board meeting that we have to, say, hey, we're looking at this. Maybe that's something that we could use, even if we're buying snacks or the water, stuff that we, would provide that we wouldn't have to get donated. We could go get donated things for other things, but.
Right.
And I know that we do have some money in account from when we had our first event, and we had companies that were donating money and donating prizes that we raffled off. And I know there is still an account with monies in it from that initial one that we did.
And I can see
We
that
had a
account.
lot of companies like Costco and Sam's and Home Depot wanting to donate because they liked what we were doing and presenting to our families and our community.
If I can report what's in the budget for that, what's left at the next meeting.
Okay.
Awesome. Does anybody have any old business they want to bring up?
We were going to go over SHAC and the information that was sent and the bylaws and all that, but
Absolutely.
since this meeting's run so long, I've got a dog that's been locked up since 7 a.m. and I know he's got his legs crossed. So I think if you have the information, if you could just kind of review it, and if you have questions, we can just talk about it at the next meeting. Okay.
Everybody's good? They're usually
Great
not this
meeting.
long.
Very productive. Great meeting.
Thank y'all very
everybody.
much.
Thank
Thank you
everybody
all.
for coming.
Good night.
Night.
Have a good
Night.
time.
Hey,
Bye. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. I'll see you.
Bye, Sue. Deb, I'm going to send this, just my notes from this to you in an email that I wrote on the agenda, since we don't have a secretary yet.
Okay.
And you can compare it to what you wrote. in
Okay.
case we missed
Well,
anything.
actually, if you just send the recording to,
Yeah, I'm gonna send that too.
yeah, so we should be
Okay.
good.
All right.
Awesome. Good night, everyone.
Good
All
night.
right, goodbye.
Good night. Thank you. Okay, how do I get out of this now?
There should be a red button on the right-hand side that says end.
I apologize. I'm a
That's
little
okay.
electronically challenged.
I think this is all new to everyone having to do it
Oh
this
my
way, but
goodness. You know, I'll accidentally hit the wrong button, then I don't know how to get back to where. Okay, now how do I get out?
I think if you see the end button on the right-hand side, there should be a red button with white letters in the right-hand side corner, bottom right-hand corner that says END end.
You might have to touch the screen for it to pop up.
Okay, okay. Well, I'll just turn my iPad off. That should do it.
It's okay. I'm about to end it. I just wanted to make sure I saved the recording. So that's why I haven't gotten out yet.
Okay. Well, listen, thank y'all very much. Appreciate your time and the
You're
information.
welcome, Sheila. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Vicky. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. And I'll send
All
this to you in an email.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.